I don't think Trump is a far right person. I don't agree.
He's more of the same, but
he's center right.
He's got an uglier mask.
Exactly.
And he makes it more obvious when he does shit. He just straight up admits shit.
He's doing literally what he campaigned on.
We're going to take the oil. We're going to take the oil.
He's doing literally what he campaigned on. He said he was going to drain that swamp, and you best believe that swamp is bubbling like a mofo. That's what this whole...
But he didn't drain it. He just filled it with more of the people.
Watch what's about to happen. Oh, no. He's getting... He brings them in, and then he kicks them out. He brings them in, and then he kicks them out. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah,
Why?
but only because they betray him.
Think about it,
It's
though.
self-interested. He's not like honorably draining the swamp.
I can't say if he's being honorable or not.
He's not.
But he is.
Dude's a con man.
You know why? So is Hillary.
Yeah.
So is Biden.
Yeah, I don't need whataboutism,
And so
though. I'm just
not
talking
about
him.
whataboutism. What I'm talking about is specifically when he said he's going to drain the swamp, what that means to me is he's going to show the nasty side of what's going on. And then if you're actually awake to it, you'll see it for what it is. That's the reason why these neoliberals are all and neocons are all freaking out about him.
Because they're shining a light on it. But the thing is, I don't think he's doing that as a master manipulative thing. I mean, he literally hired, he had Rex Tillerson, who's a CEO of Exxon. And, he had a bunch of people on that were literally the swamp, right? The corporate consulting class and all that. And yes, maybe he's kicked them out, but only after they said something publicly against him or betrayed him in some way. And so then he kicked them out. But he didn't kick them out forever. In fact, dude, right now, neoliberals are rehabbing the image of people like David Frum, you know what I mean, who's a neocon, and this motherfucker was so pro-war in Iraq, and yet now they're trying to prop him up as like, look, it's a never-Trumper. Dude, I'm sorry, but if you know anybody on the right, most people are not never-Trumpers. Most people are for Trump. They're like, yeah, I'm for Trump. Like, if they're on the right. Most people, like... His approval rating within the right populace,
it's huge.
It's huge, but his approval rating is totally huge. It's bigly, but like, it's huge there. But then, yes, in the political class, they think, oh, but he's not doing the dance we do.
Right.
He's not hiding it better.
Right.
I don't like that. He's making me feel kind of sleazy.
He's making us look bad. Yeah. That's what they're upset about.
Yes.
And that's what he's doing.
But he's doing their policies, and guess what? Guess what they did? They voted for his budget. Dude, his military budget that they greenlit, that extra $137 billion or whatever it was, that could have paid for education right there. And we greenlit it for the military. So we never asked the question with the military, yet we're always like, how are you going to pay for it for anything that helps regular people?
But that's the industrial complex at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, totally.
So part of me is like, look, if let's just say I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to go into that
generous.
I have this conversation with my brother. I'll have this conversation with anybody. I will give him the benefit of the doubt because he is literally showing what's happening in DC. Like it or not, he is. You're right. They're giving him all this money to go do all this awful stuff. But it would have happened.
He's a lunatic. Here's an extra $137
billion. It would have happened anyways. And now we're seeing that this is happening, right?
Yeah.
So what happens? I'm not saying I want him to win, but what happens if he does win? What happens the next 4 years? Does he actually drain the swamp? Could it possibly be? Hold on.
I don't think so.
Could it? People don't want to think like this. Just think about this. Could it possibly be that he has to play the game the way he's playing it in order to show what's happening, right, to his base, and then gets voted again, and then the next 4 years he's going to be like, all right, it's time, because he couldn't do it in the first 4 years because he still has to push against what's coming at him, right? So that's me giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying I agree with him.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily agreeing with the process.
I think that's pretty generous.
But he's winning. He is winning. That's the thing. Why is he winning?
Well, it's because when you don't stand for anything, it's easy to look bad when they try to point out all these things that don't matter. So they try to get on him for little tweets and whatever that he says.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's helping the genocide in Yemen, and no one reports on that.
Right.
All right, and then he assassinates the general of Iran, which, like it or not, whether that general has done good or bad things, it is still a political figure of another country, of a sovereign nation. So that's something you're making the international community not be respected, where, okay, well, clearly if the United States isn't going to follow the rules, then why the fuck should we?
I'm about to whataboutism, though. Because, or whataboutism. I'm about to what about that? Because and, like, that's what Obama did. That's what Bush did. That's what Clinton did.
And you would have heard me calling out all of them too, though. That's the thing. I'm a good faith actor.
But the thing is, we didn't call him out.
I mean, I did, but very unpopularly.
When Hillary was called out for that stuff as Secretary of State, it was like swept under the rug.
Yes,
like,
because the political class protects her.
And that is what upsets his base, is that how dare y'all go and call him out on this stuff, and then y'all still going to prop her up, who still hasn't come to terms, or no one's brought her to task about this. I mean, this whole impeachment thing that's happened is like the whole reason why that even came up is because of Joe Biden. No one wants to talk about that.
Well, so I'll comment on that. So one, Joe Biden's obviously corrupt. So let's get that out of the way. He's obviously corrupt. That whole getting hired by Burisma, all of that, clearly corrupt, clearly bad. That was not, he wasn't trying to weed out the corruption. What he was trying to do is get dirt on his political opponent. So
I don't agree with that.
So although Biden is corrupt, and you're not going to have me disagree with it, I do not like him, and I want Bernie to trounce him. You know what I mean? So like, keep in mind, I'm not defending Biden at all. But Trump is like a mob boss. Okay?
So is Hillary.
Yes. Again, we don't need to go there because you're not going to find an argument from me.
Right.
I'm not one of those people who's been Yas queening and defending her. Like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that being said, if that's his goal was literally just to get dirt on a political opponent, he's not allowed to withhold funds. He's just not. It's literally illegal.
Yeah, I get that.
The other thing is, they should have impeached him on the emoluments clause. He's not allowed to have financial interest because they all have that too.
Right.
And so they didn't want to do it. So the strongest case for impeachment is one that implicates every single person, with the exception of a few in the House and the Senate.
Right.
Bernie being one of them, I think. But there's an exception of the few, but like, they knew that it would implicate all of them, and it would put them all on the hook eventually, and that Trump could just point to you guys and be like, hey, you guys are doing it too. And the truth is they are. So again, you're not going to find pushback from me on that because I agree with you.
Right.
But my point is that the dude's impeachable for like so many different reasons, and they chose this one, which I don't know why. It's not that good of a decision.
I can tell you why.
And the Republicans were never going to do it. You knew that they were going to vote no.
Of course they weren't.
Especially because they're not good faith actors.
Right.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is he's winning. And it, as much as that sucks, he's winning because he is letting them show their own cards. And that's how he's, quote unquote, draining the swamp. He's like, all right, challenge me. I dare you. Why? Because he knows they don't have a foot to stand on.
Sure.